recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list? Oh my God.
You're like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
Aaron.
I haven't started cooking more, but I have started thinking about cooking more, so I've looked at a lot of recipes for things. Mostly cocktails.
Zakia.
I'm a very happy evil genius.
Yeah.
And Nick.
For all the listeners out there, if you spend enough money, you can be where I am today.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan. I am here today with Mr. Chris to the H-O. What's up, Chris Hollister?
Hey, it's good to be back on. How you doing, Jonathan?
Doing good. We are also here with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
Carmela, you just showed us your helmet.
I did.
That was impressive.
You make it sound so...
Jonathan let's just be honest. Jonathan makes everything sound dirty.
You bring your own connotations to the word that I've said.
Yes, I did show you one of my Mass Effect helmets that I have.
It was actually very cool.
It was awesome.
If you want to see it, it is going to be posted right now, at literally now, 2 weeks before you hear this, in the images of the game picture on the Trivial Warfare Army Facebook group. So you should just check it out.
So scroll back.
Scroll back. Guys, we have 2 awesome guests today.
Yes,
First up, Mr. David Abolafia is with us. Hello, David.
Howdy.
Howdy. And Mr. Troy Cooper is with us today. Hello, Troy.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. Guys, I want to get to know each of you better. David, let's start with you. Tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Well, my name is David Abolafia. I live in Sarasota, Florida, and I work in customer service and 4 nights a week as a trivia host. The something fun about me, this actually harks back to something that our friend and prolific trivia writer Rob Warman started about 6 months ago, maybe, on the where he was explaining the various inside references of Trivial Warfare to people who are new. And one of the ones that he didn't talk about was the acting. Brilliant! And so I checked with Chris to confirm what I thought it was, that it's from Master Thespian on Saturday Night Live. Yes, and so that reminded me of this story, which is that the week after that sketch premiered in 1988, I was invited to a press screening of a movie called My Stepmother is an Alien, which starred Dan Aykroyd and Kim Basinger and John Lovitz.
And Allison Hannigan.
And Allison Hannigan. But afterward, there was a meet and greet with the director, Richard Benjamin, and John Lovitz. And so I got a chance to chat with him, and I said, I saw the Master Thespian bit on Saturday. I thought it was great. And he's like, yeah, I don't think the audience really got it. and so I'm glad that there are people that did, because otherwise that might have been the last time we saw him.
Oh yeah.
I think that it is important to have the right audience for your jokes, and that audience just may not have been the right one for his jokes, but obviously Chris was, and obviously David was. So that's good enough for me.
Saturday Night Live during that time was formidable. I mean, it was just, that was something I was watching every single week so that I could talk to my friends about it.
Love it.
For sure.
All right. Well, David, we are glad you are here. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
You got it.
And Troy, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Yeah, I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm an associate professor at the School of Information Science at UK. And something fun, I seem to have run out of these, but something that just happened this week, which is going to sound like a brag, I guess it sort of is I finally won my first pub trivia solo.
Hey!
Whoa!
Huzzah!
I can't say that.
I normally play with a friend of mine, and we do pretty well there. And he was out and couldn't come. It's like, you know what? I'm going to try by myself and see how I do. And actually, the cards fell the right way, and I was able to win it.
Did you have a lead going into the gauntlet, or not the gauntlet, to the last question? Or
I did. I had a 3-point lead, and you can at this place you can bet up to 15. It's often a question where you have to put things in order, like from oldest to the and so I was able to pull it out. It was a really nice feat, and I was proud of it. So
good for you, man. It is a really badass feeling, honestly. In terms of trivia feelings, maybe being on stage at a big event and being in the winner's circle against a ton of amazing players, it might be better. But the feeling of winning a game against multiple tables of people who all have multiple tables of multiple people, it's a really cool feeling to do that.
Yeah. And now I can rub it in my friend's face that he's just holding me back. So.
That's right. He's been an anchor the whole time. Good job, Troy. Love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, guys. We're going to have a great time today. This is episode number 535. That means we are on our exclusive feeds. If you're listening to this, you are, what are you? You are the jam to my peanut butter. You are the butter to my roll. You are the toe jam to my Earl. We love you. We appreciate you. May you always be toe jam to our Earl. Thank you for being here. We love you. Everybody's looking at me like I am crazy. Y'all don't remember toe jam and Earl?
Oh, no, I do, but just, you failed on that one. Not going to lie.
You think I should have said there the Earl to my toe jam?
No, you should have just said the shake to my bake. I mean,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You did that off the top of your head?
I did, as a matter of
fact. I had to prep
yes.
like 4 weeks for this.
Oh.
Guys, so Troy, great to have you here today. And Chris, you had something you wanted to share today, too.
Well, actually, you wanted me to share.
I wanted you to share because I want to know about it. We haven't had a chance to really talk.
That's true. It has been a busy couple weeks for sure. So back in March, and I think I was talking to you a little bit about it a few months ago, Jonathan. I've been noticing some hearing loss in my right ear. I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but I've had significant hearing loss in my left ear, about 80% for about 3/4 of my life, about 40 years. It was about 10 years old. We had a surgery that was designed to try to save my hearing. Unfortunately, didn't work, and in my left ear, and just is what it is. So the joke always was with my mom is anytime that I wanted to hear somebody, I'd point to them with my right ear. And anytime I needed to hear my mom talk, I'd point to her with my left ear. Thankfully, she was a good mom and allowed that joke to roll. But like I said, in the beginning of March, right around my 51st birthday, there was a noticeable loss in my right ear. And so I decided to go back to a doctor that I'd been seeing for a while. And he said that, well, unfortunately, there is a dip in your hearing. And then also, I can never say the word, but tinnitus has been literally 24/7 in my right ear. It's just been bad. Yeah. And so, no, it's all good. But I asked him, I was like, well, what can we do? Is there medicine or anything like that? And he's like, well, actually, we just noticed something when we did testing, and that is in your left ear. You can't hear from the outside in. However, if we can get the sound inside your left ear, you're actually able to pick up those signals and those sounds, and you're actually able to hear a little bit. And I was like, okay, but what does that have to do with my right ear? And he's like, well, we figured if we can help out your left ear, it will actually help out your right ear. It's just that your right ear has taken up so much of the workload that we want to ease off of it a little bit, and hopefully that'll help even it out. And I was like, well, that sounds weird, but okay, how do we do this? And he said, have you ever heard of a Baja device? And I said, a Baja device? No, I haven't.
Something you buy at Taco Bell.
I hear they're
exactly.
Blast.
Yes, yeah. I've heard. Yes, I said that same joke. I said the same joke to him and everything like that. And he said, Baja stands for bone anchored hearing aid. And if anybody has ever had a bone, what is it? The earphones. Yeah, the bone conducting earphones. This is basically the medical grade for it. And so what they did on Thursday is I had surgery done, and I had an implant, and it's kind of gross still because it looks like a little the cone of shame that a dog has.
I've seen a picture of it. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's
it's cool too.
It's around the implant that's in there. But anyway, so what's going to happen is in a couple weeks after it finishes healing, I'm going to get the Baja device where I'll be able to plug it in and I will actually be able to hear. So the implant went into the skull, into my skull, and it's going to help conduct hearing within it. So instead of the hearing going from the outside of the ear in, it's actually going to pick it up and put it on the inside where my left ear actually is able to hear sounds a little bit better.
That is so neat.
And so for the first time in literally 40 years, I'll actually be able to significantly hear out of my left ear. And it's a little crazy to think that this is something that's possible. This is oddly enough not a new technology. This has actually been around for a little while, but it's the first time I've heard of it. And so I'm really excited to see what happens. So, and the other cool part is it's going to be Wi-Fi capable. So I'll be able to listen to my music through it, for goodness sakes, on my phone. Cool. He said that I can actually answer the phone from the device. So, I mean, I was just so I'm excited to hear and to see what happens when I get the device in. But so that's what's kind of going on a little bit. It's been a whirlwind. Thankfully, the surgery was not very difficult at all. I've actually been off the pain meds since Friday, so that's good. And I'm actually sleeping pretty decently too now. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it feels weird. It's just like, because I'll put my hand back there and it's like, oh, there's something back there now.
It looks like a button snap.
Yeah.
Like if you imagine a snap button up shirt with one is a little nub and the other is a circle that goes around the nub, it looks like the nub. It's got a Frankenstein vibe to it, like the bolt right there in the back behind the ear.
As I've been joking around with a lot of people, I'm now officially a cyborg.
Yeah, no, you are. You're $6 million man.
You're in the Cyborg Club with your wife and my partner.
Yeah,
I made a joke to Waco when he told me about what Chris was doing. I said, "Oh, was he just jealous that now because you and Angie are both cyborgs, he wants to be one too?"
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm like I told you before. I'm really glad that you're taking care of yourself and you're doing something that benefits you. So.
Yep. Awesome. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
You can join the trivia team I play with my parents that we call ourselves Mostly Original Parts.
Well, it's funny that you say that, David, because I had a friend of mine that I had to tell. I was like, I'm sorry, you gave me a shirt a couple years ago that said original parts since 1974, and I have to get rid of that shirt now. I can't wear it because that would be a lie.
Wow.
And so, yeah. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. But thanks for letting me tell about it. Yeah. If anybody's interested, I'll post pictures later on, but it's exciting for sure.
Very exciting. Thank you, Sarah. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Let's get this game started right now. It is time for Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
All right. Even though Chris is here, I will be Chris today, at least for this portion of the episode. And what I have is I went to ranker.com and they have a list of most memorable advertising mascots per their user base.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a list of 114 mascots for brands. I have the top 20. So we're just going to go around and I'm going to see if you can name any of these on the top 20.
And Ranker is a voting based site, right? So it's going to be people's votes.
So it is people's votes. A person puts together like a list and then the user base goes in and votes for what they think is the top spot.
And these are like characters and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Carmela, is this worldwide, you think, or just American-based votes?
Let's see here. It's for their user base. So I'm going to say it's worldwide.
Okay.
Because I don't have anything different to say.
Fair enough.
And this was posted, it was updated in April of this year. So
cool. Okay.
Just so we have that. All the bases are covered. All right. And we are going to start with Troy.
Okay. And you said all advertising, not just like food or any specific kind.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. How about the Coca-Cola polar bears?
They are not in the top 20. If I remember correctly, they are like in the top 30.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
All
not
right.
in the top 20. All right, David.
I'm going to guess Yo quiero Taco Bell, the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
The Chihuahua's not on. I think that dog's name was Gidget, actually.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, Gidget's not on here. So, Chris, you are next.
Okay, the reason why I asked about worldwide or not, because Colonel Sanders
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, very, very popular over in Japan. And so Colonel Sanders is my pick.
Oh, Colonel Sanders is number 6.
All right.
Nice job.
Okay.
Good one.
Jonathan, what do you got for me?
Everybody started with food. I'll go with food too and say Ronald McDonald.
Number 11.
Ronald has lost ground to the Colonel, y'all.
All right, Troy, back to you.
How about Tony the Tiger?
Oh,
Tony
good
the
one.
Tiger is number 1.
It's a
Nice.
good one. He's
No.
great.
He's great. Okay. David.
Well, shifting gears away from food, I'm going to go for the Geico Gecko.
Nice.
Geico Gecko, number 12. Good job, Chris.
And I know there's a name.
Oh, they have him listed as Geico Gecko. I don't know what his name is.
The question got asked. I actually submitted the question. Now I can't remember what the answer is.
It's like Clarence or something like that.
It's for the advertising firm that created him. I remember that.
Okay.
We have Clarence.
Gordon. Probably Gordon.
I'm going to say Flo from Progressive.
Ooh,
Flo is not in the top 20. It is a good answer, though.
Oh, man. All right.
Shout out to Stephanie Courtney.
Jonathan.
How about the Michelin Man?
Nice.
He's not in the top 20. Let me
Okay.
see. Because I was looking at his name. By the way, Flo is number 50. I was looking at him earlier.
He's
that
just
guy's
so
got a
iconic.
name.
Bibendum.
Yeah, Bibendum. I'm like, that dude's got a name. And why is it Bibendum?
Because he
something to do with
bends them,
drinking.
but he doesn't break them.
I guess so.
Wow.
I just thought that was wild. I'm like, ooh. Troy, back to you.
Let's just stick with the cereal and say maybe Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Ooh.
Number 15. Good job.
Well done.
The cereal brand mascots are usually pretty recognizable, so that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
David.
Hint. Friggin'
All right.
hint.
Well, that's where I was going anyway. I will say Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch.
Number 18. No extra credit for giving me his full government name, but
That's how his mom calls him when she's mad at him.
Exactly.
Horatio Magellan Crunch!
I'll turn this boat around right now.
Chris.
I'm going to say he had some super creepy commercials going on a few years ago. I'm going to say the Burger King.
The Burger King. Yeah, when you said creepy, I was like, oh, he's going to say the Burger King. It's not in the top 20, but that is
Too new.
He had his own video game. It was called
Oh, yeah.
Sneak King. It was a wild time in the 2000s.
Seriously, Burger King had some really weird advertising execs going, "Hey, we got an idea for you."
Yep.
Jonathan.
My phone mistyped this as the Pillsbury Tough Boy, but I wanted to say Pillsbury Doughboy.
Number 5, Pillsbury Dope.
Yeah!
Nice.
Poppin'
job.
fresh.
We are going to go one more time around because you guys are doing so good. Troy, back to you. What's your last guess for me?
So I don't know how far back it goes, but for a long time I know Joe Camel was really popular.
Oh, yeah.
Not in the top 20. He's probably further down because he is pretty memorable, and there are some things in here that are pretty old. Oh, by the way, I did find the Taco Bell dog use number 49.
Right above Flo.
Yep. Unfortunately, not Joe Camel. Well, I mean, it's fortunate in that cigarettes aren't as prevalent, but
Right,
unfortunately, because he
right.
was a pretty cool character. David.
Let's go with Sonny the Cuckoo Bird from Cocoa Puffs.
Ah,
No, don't have
Okay.
Sonny the Cuckoo Bird.
Nope.
Chris, your last guess for me.
I had a couple of them on here, and if you'll let me, afterwards we'll do it. But I'm going to say the Chick-fil-A cows.
They are not in the top 20.
Okay. So I did well on the first one, and then misses on all the rest. All right, that's how it's going to be today. Got it.
All right, we're going to wrap up with Jonathan.
I had a couple for Halloween a couple of years ago. Sarah and I dressed up as Fred and Wilma, and lots of kids gravitated towards me dressed as Fred Flintstone, and I was surprised by that. And then as I heard them talking, I realized it wasn't because of the TV show. It was because of the cereal. So I'm going to guess Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone is number 16.
Oh,
boom! Shakalaka!
You did great. So
it's on the list. I should have did that. Dang it!
I thought it would have been for the vitamins.
Yeah,
that's true too.
I don't even know.
It's
Do
true.
you still make those vitamins?
They do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
They're very tasty. I put Spuds McKenzie down. Was good old Spuds on there, or is he
not in the top 20?
All right, he's been forgotten.
That's way too long.
All right.
How about Toucan
so.
Sam?
Toucan Sam was number 10. So I'll give you guys the rest of what I got here on the list.
Okay. Yeah,
Lucky
please.
and Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
Windy.
So the red and yellow M&Ms were number 2. You guys already said 20 is number 1.
Oh, M&Ms.
Mr. Clean was number 3.
That was, I honestly, I thought Mr. Clean was not going to be there if people like Flo and the others
I
weren't
think
there.
just because of lasting power, because Mr. Clean has been around for ever.
I had both him and the
know his
Michelin
name?
Man evenly rated.
No, I don't know his name.
His first name is Verifiably.
Yeah, sure it is. Sure it is.
No, I'm making that up.
No,
I know.
thinking
I'm
you're
not
kidding.
disagreeing
No.
with you.
It's
I'm not
just
disagreeing
hilarious.
with you.
Number 4, the Energizer Bunny.
Oh
That's a good
man.
one.
You guys said Pillsbury, Colonel Sanders. Number 7, Kool-Aid Guy.
Oh yeah.
Number 8, Mickey Mouse. Used in pretty much all of Disney's
Wow.
branding and ads.
That's not wrong.
Number 9, Mr. Peanut. Number 10, Toucan Sam. We said Ron McDonald. We said the Gecko. Number 13, Smokey Bear.
Really? Still?
Yes. Number 14, Chester Cheetah of
Okay.
Cheetos fame.
Thought about him. Yep.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Number 16, Fred Flintstone. Number 17, Lucky the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms. Captain Crunch. Number 19, Mario for Nintendo. And number 20, Wendy of Wendy's.
Oh
Boy.
man, I'm feeling so
I
dumb.
thought about that, but I thought I wasn't
so
sure.
dumb.
I didn't know how much international, how far spread Wendy's is.
Yeah.
My list of unguessed answers was Mr. Clean, Windy, and Lucky. So I mean, I was right there.
Man, I feel so dumb because I was struggling just to think of anything, and I was like, and just every single one, you're like, yep. All right.
All good. All good. Okay, well, that is your warming up, Chris. I think you guys did great. And I thought that was fun.
That was
All
fun.
right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, it is time to get this game started. This is going to be episode number 535. That means we're on the Patreon feed. The matchup today is Chris. Actually, I don't know what the matchup is. No, it's Jonathan and Troy versus David and Chris. Carmela's hosting. And it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
Before we get started, I have to give a huge and emphatic shout out to my bestie, Jay Borsum.
Ooh, thank you, Jay.
I have been in a production crunch for a new show that I've been working on, and I got just swamped and busy, and she came in clutch and wrote the 18 questions for the regular game today.
Wow.
So
Jay,
thank
she
you.
is more awesome than I ever thought she was. Holy crap.
I appreciate her, and she asked me, like, hey, do you still have all the puzzles that I've submitted, like you've used on Foreplay, which is, of course, the other show that I do, and I'm doing live at SporkleCon this year. And so I sent her, so she used 18, like the first 18 puzzles that I used of hers that I used on my show. She used those to write the questions. So,
whoa,
I think it's great. So it's all tied together.
She is unbelievable. Just rock star. Absolute rock star.
So let's get started with your first category, and your first category is baby stuff.
Oh, reminder for everybody, especially with Carmela, because she gives great categories sometimes. There is the Sherlocking rule. You have the chance as a team to have one Sherlocked answer where you pre-guess an answer before the question is read. If you get it right, it is worth 5 bonus points. You're not stuck with that answer if you want to change it after you've heard the question. You can only be a positive. So the rule will just be simply, if you hear something that floats your boat before Carmela starts asking the question, get her attention, let her know, hey, hold on, I want to possibly Sherlock here. You'll have 10, 15 seconds to write down an answer. Okay?
Okay.
Wow.
Frances Baby Houseman was played by Jennifer Grey in the 1987 film Dirty Dancing, set at a result in the Catskills in 1963. She didn't appear in the poorly received 2004 prequel to Dirty Dancing, set 5 years earlier in what national capital?
Oh, that's the wrong chat. I don't think Arjun cares about my answer.
Mm.
We're going to lock in.
Okay.
We were just about to say the same thing.
All right. Well,
So,
why don't you go ahead and tell us what you and David were thinking, Chris?
Well, I wasn't thinking much. Thankfully, David was, because I had not seen it. But when David said the answer, I was like, oh, I remember that's in the title. So, David, take it away.
Yeah, I believe the sequel is called Dirty Dancing Havana Nights. So we said Havana.
Havana.
Capital of Cuba. All right. Jonathan and
Havana
Troy.
Una Na.
Havana, Una.
Yeah, we both came to that immediately too. For some reason, Havana just jumped right in, and the Havana Nights subtitle. So that's what we went with too, Havana.
Okay. This was in theaters when I worked at a theater, but I did not watch it because I had no interest in seeing a sequel to one of my favorite films of all time, and it was Havana. Havana Nights.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice job, David.
Good job,
Good
both
job.
teams. Okay.
Always good to start off with 10. 10.
10.
Your next category is college football bowls. Currently hosted at State Farm Stadium and sponsored by Verbo, which of the 6 bowl games used as a playoff game in college football's FBS is the newest to the party, having held its first game in 1971?
Carmela, just as a question for everybody to be able to hear and understand. When you mentioned sponsored by Verbo, is that like the primary sponsor and there's a bunch of little sponsors, or is it like the titular sponsor? Do you know what I mean? And if you don't want to answer, it's fine. I just want to get clarification.
It's not that I don't want to answer. I don't know. So if she wrote it as sponsored by Verbo, I'm going to say that they're the primary sponsor.
Okay.
Or it could just be one of the sponsors. Let me look it up. So just so everyone is on the same page. Looks like it is a main sponsor, but it's not the only main sponsor.
Yeah, bowl games usually have quite a few. So, I mean,
that's what I was thinking, because like some of them will say it's the sponsor bowl name. You know what I mean? Like
I would say that this is one of those where it's sponsor bowl name.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is one of the big 6. So it's going to have one of those big 6 names. So it makes anyway, the question made sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
And we are going to need an answer here pretty soon. 10 seconds. All right. I need answers.
Okay.
We're locked in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're locked in, so we, I'm not a college football person. Troy, I don't know if you're more of one, but I quickly said, okay, well, Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl. And there's one more I can't think of. And we started going through them, and it's like, well, the Rose Bowl's old, so it's not the Rose Bowl. And it's usually the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, so it's not Verbo. And also, Troy, you were like, and it's the FedEx Orange Bowl. It's like, yeah, so it's probably not that one.
And we couldn't think of that. I think there still is one that we're missing. One
there
big
is.
One. But I seem to remember, too, that when they expanded on the playoffs and everything, that the Cotton Bowl was brought in. So that may be the newest edition, which I think was part of the question.
All right. And is that what you guys landed on?
Yeah, we ended up locking in with the Cotton Bowl.
All right. Cotton Bowl. Chris and David, what did you lock in with?
Yeah, the only other one you guys didn't talk about was the Peach Bowl. The Peach Bowl
is that a playoff bowl game?
Yes, that is a playoff bowl game because of where it's at, and that's in Atlanta.
We did talk about that then.
Oh, okay.
Just not out loud.
But Atlanta is Mercedes-Benz. David agreed with me on that one, so we crossed that one off.
And I think we basically boiled it down to, because we knew it wasn't the Rose Bowl. We didn't think it was the Sugar Bowl. I don't think we talked about the Cotton Bowl.
It was in there, but I know the Cotton Bowl has been around for forever. I mean, it's just, or at least it was one of those older bowls, so I didn't bring it up.
So we were down to Fiesta and Orange, and I didn't think it was Orange because I'm pretty sure Orange is in Miami, and
it is.
So we
said Fiesta, but my only concern with it is that the Orange Bowl or the Miami Stadium changes names like I change my underwear.
It does.
And so it's just, I'm a little nervous about it. And I know that lately Fiesta and Orange Bowl have changed their big name sponsors.
So Fiesta doesn't do Tostitos doesn't do Fiesta anymore?
I don't think so. I think they've rotated off. So it's a possibility that we might be right, but we may be crazy. We may just be the lunatic you're looking for.
Hey, both things can be true.
Yeah. All right, Carmela, help us out here.
Okay. Well, Tostitos has not sponsored the Fiesta Bowl since 2014. Just throwing that out there. Oh, my
God.
But I did throw in an extra little clue into there saying it was the newest to the party.
Oh, wow.
And it's the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
Wow,
nice.
That's great. That's great.
That's really good. That's really good writing right there. Yeah. Holy cow.
Yep.
And I swear if I'd picked up on well, never mind. Because that was in the question. I was like, I would have Sherlocked it, but that wouldn't have been in the category.
Yep. Okay. So
Nicely
your last
Nicely
category
done.
in the round is English counties. There are 48 ceremonial counties in England, areas to which the monarch appoints a Lord Lieutenant as a representative. As Yorkshire is properly divided into 4 different counties, namely North, South, East, and West Riding of Yorkshire, what ceremonial county name is found last alphabetically?
Gonna read this one.
So because Yorkshire has those northwest and those cardinal directions beforehand, it's no longer the last alphabetically. So what is essentially what I'm asking for.
I don't. So alphabetically lower than Yorkshire is what we're looking for?
Yes, because it would come up as East Yorkshire, East Riding Yorkshire. Yeah.
Okay. So West Yorkshire is the last Yorkshire alphabetically.
Mm-hmm. So Yorkshire ends up going up alphabetically because of all of that stuff. So
okay.
I need to know what other shire is last alphabetically.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're locked in.
Troy, based on the way that they spoke with each other, I bet you that they were going for Worcestershire. Where they're like, nah, that can't be. Actually, I think that might be.
Right.
That's the way I heard their voices just now.
Yeah, and that's the only word ending with shire, with W, X, Y, Z, towards the end of the alphabet that I can think of. So, yeah, that would be my guess, too.
Yeah, anything else with a West is not going to be lower than West Yorkshire because it's the Y word, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like Worcestershire, man.
I'm good with it.
All right, we're going to say Worcestershire.
All right.
Yeah, David, this was all you because I am not world traveled. I am not well traveled.
Nor am I.
I'm not traveled.
Yeah, no, me neither. But yeah, they got to the sauce of our discussion because that is Worcestershire is what we came up with. I figured Lee and Perrins, I'm pretty sure, is a British company, so made sense.
All right. And as I was reading the question and explaining it, I probably said a little bit too much, but that's fine because both teams got it right. Worcestershire, or I think it's Worcester there.
Worcester.
Or Worcestershire, as I would say, if I'm talking about the sauce. But yes, both teams were correct on that. And that is the end of the round. Chris and David have a slight lead. It is a 30-20.
That was some special sauce right there.
Nice. It'd be a real mouthful. Worcestershire. So I live in Worcestershire.
Round 2, question 1. Your first category is units of measure. Ancient units of measure were often rough and based on easily accessible data. For instance, the foot literally meant the length of one's own foot, around 12 inches, and the hand literally meant the width of one's closed hand, around 4 inches. What unit, standard at 9 inches today, was also derived from the human body?
When they recalibrated their measurements, it was closer to 5 inches, but they wanted to stay. They wanted to stay with the 9. Yeah, they didn't want to change it.
I knew someone was going to go there.
And you knew that somebody had to be Jonathan.
Okay, this is really frustrating when your spell check corrects your numbers.
You're welcome, Carmela. Okay, we're locked in.
All right. Troy, I was going to say a butt is a measurement. In fact, there is an actual butt load, refers to how much beer or wine or something inside of a container.
Right.
But I don't think it's a butt. A head, man. It feels like it's about 9 inches tall-ish.
Yeah. It seems like there's not a ton of variation in the size of head. Whereas, as Sir Mix-a-Lot let us know, butts definitely have that variation. So
that's true, yes.
But yeah, that was my first thought was head.
And I brought up hog's head, but that's just another thing measured by a size. It's not a human head.
Right.
Maybe there was I can't think of any other words that are body parts that are also measurements.
Right. And for it to be, 9 inches?
Mm-hmm.
That's struggle to think of something that's about that size other than maybe the head. And I guess butt.
I think head. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
We're going to go head.
David and Chris.
What does everybody want? Head! What does everybody need? Head! For those of you who do not know, there is a wrestler from the 90s by the name of Al Snow. Actually, he's still wrestling to this day, as a matter of fact. But he had a gimmick where he had a head that was from from a mannequin that he brought around and everything like that. And his introduction was, what does everybody want? And everybody yelled out head. So for those who are uninitiated, there you go. But David, I said, I know head, leg, and arm are used as measurements. I said arm at first, but you're like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right.
Well, I thought that an arm seemed like it would be longer than 9 inches. Yeah. And, the butt and hog's head, I think, are both units of volume rather than length. So we also locked in with head.
Okay. Well, I want everyone to take their hand and outstretch it like this, splay your palm out. The standardization of a span is 9 inches, and that is roughly the length of the tip of your thumb to the tip of your pinky. It is done with the splayed palm. It's called a span.
Oh.
So 10 points to
Carmela. It wasn't actually a body part we were looking for. Okay.
It was derived from the human body.
Yeah, derived. That's not the same.
Yep. So that's called a span.
My hand you see, I have a raised hand now. Yeah. It automatically did that.
Hello.
All right. Mine is only about 8 inches, so that's a little off.
And there's
honestly,
variation.
That's longer than I thought, Chris. I didn't expect you to whip out the tape measure and measure it right here.
Well, sometimes you just gotta lay it on the table.
He's literally holding a tape measure, guys. I'm not making any of this up.
So glad this is on the main feed. Or not on the main feed. I mean, jeez. Oh, my Lord.
Don't tempt him. He'll move it.
Oh. Anywho, yes, because I've been trying to do some changing around in my office a little bit. And so, yes, the tape measure is here. So.
Again, for the changing, put your pants back on.
Okay.
I wasn't going there. I'm not crass.
I am.
Chris says I'm lying.
Your next category is Rangers.
Rangers?
Go.
No.
The Ranger class first appeared as a subclass of the basic fighter character class in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. What other character type was also a fighter subclass in AD&D, originally only available to human characters with a lawful good alignment, named for a legendary knight of the court of Charlemagne?
We're locked in.
Yep.
Oh, good. Yeah, Troy, to be a paladin, you have to be lawful good. Even in today's game, you can be an evil paladin, which would make you lawful evil. But yeah, no, it's almost 90, 95, 96, 97, 99%-ish paladin.
Yep, that works for me. I'm not super well versed in D&D, so I will trust you there.
There we go. We'll say paladin.
And I think David and I were typing this in at the exact same time.
I haven't played D&D for almost 40 years, but that's one of those things I remember was, lawful good and had to be human. So we said paladin.
Yeah, and I've moved away from playing D&D remotely. I've been playing Gloomhaven a lot lately and just having a blast with that with some friends online.
Cool.
And but paladins they're standard. I mean, I think they've been around for forever and a day in D&D land. So there's that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to align so much with the lawful good. Most paladins are lawful good, but as long as they're lawful, it's generally okay. But yeah, we're looking for paladins. It is a class that I love to play. I love a charisma-based caster.
Yep.
And actually, I'm an Oath of the Crown kind of paladin player. So not so much in the good space, but definitely, loyal to your monarch or what have you.
In Baldur's Gate 3, which was a very popular game based on the D&D rule set, if you chose paladin and you were lawful good, you could not mess around.
You couldn't. You would get Oathbreaker almost immediately.
Immediately. It's like, let me think about taking that food when nobody's looking. No, sir. It makes it a challenge to play and almost less fun because you cannot mess around.
But both teams got that correct. Your last category in the round is in rings.
Rings.
On May 6, 2025, Kevin Joseph Farrell intentionally used a silver hammer to destroy the ring that previously belonged to what figure?
Okay, we're locked in.
Okay. Any thoughts?
I'm stumped here. Obviously, yeah, that the silver specifically probably has something to do with it.
I noticed also the question says belonged to which figure?
Right.
And a figure doesn't have to be a person.
True.
So I don't know if there might have been a ring from a character or a statue. I don't know if this is in real life or is this in fiction. Like if there was a thing in a story where this happened on that day. I don't know.
Yeah, so silver one of the anti-vampire things?
Yeah, no, like silver bullets I think are for werewolves.
Werewolf, yeah.
And destroy the ring, not a ring.
Right.
That had previously belonged to what figure? Figure might have just been a gender neutral term, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you about 30 seconds.
Oh, no. Really? It's already been 4 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Any significance to May 6th? Or...
Not that I have, man. Oh, what if it was... Maybe it's the Pope.
Ah.
Maybe, maybe there was a Pope ring.
Right. No, they do. They destroy the ring of the Pope every single time.
Do they really?
They do. I heard that. It's so that nobody else can, claim to be the Pope. It goes way, way back. But I'm pretty sure that I heard that every successive Pope gets a new ring and the other one's destroyed. So I think you might be right.
Well, that would explain figure. Okay, we're going to guess the Pope.
Can you give me more information?
Pope Francis.
So I just put in the chat, we just got Jonathan. Because David had the answer pretty quickly, and I remembered it. I just didn't think of it from the way the question was. But David, go for it.
We last year we watched the movie Conclave, and then when the real thing happened, given that I'm not Catholic, I normally wouldn't pay that much attention to that sort of thing. But we were kind of interested, and so and I remember as part of that whole thing, I remember that. One of the things of, saying goodbye to the previous Pope is destroying his ring. So we said Pope Francis.
So Cardinal Kevin Farrell, uses a hammer, and he would tap on the signet of the ring using the Pope's real name as a way to say goodbye. And it is a practice and a custom that has been in place for hundreds of years at this point. And it's so that ring cannot be used in any official capacity or to forge documents. So it is a safety precaution as well as just a general custom of saying goodbye. But yes, Pope Francis is the correct answer.
All right.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Nice poll at the last second.
Good, apparently.
Last dang second every time.
Not every time.
At the end of the round, don't have a lead change. Chris and David are still in the lead, 50-40, going into round 3.
Staying alive, ha, 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 staying alive.
You good?
I'm good. do, 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 do.
This is why your games go over. It's 'cause you're around.
No, my game went over because Nikki asked a bunch of questions that both teams took 4+ minutes on every question.
Oh, damn.
That'll do it.
There weren't any of mine, were there?
No, none of yours.
Your category, the first one in round 3, is rooms. In the board game Clue, or Cluedo for our European friends, the kitchen has a secret passage to the study, and the lounge has a secret passage to the conservatory. The library and billiard rooms are next to each other, and across the house from the dining room, and the hall is opposite to what other room?
Where's Tim Curry when you need him?
Now.
Communism is just a red herring.
We're locked in.
Oh, man, David. All right, we can talk it out, but...
The center place on the board, is that a room or... But, I mean, even if it is, I don't think that would apply here because it says it's opposite what other room.
Yeah.
Because I know I read somewhere that they were adding a bathroom to Clue, but
I know over the last 10 to 15 years, they've done a lot of changes.
Right. They added a character.
Try to make it a little more contemporary, try to make it a little less white.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a very, very white game at one point in time. So they needed to absolutely...
So much that they called one of the characters Mrs. White.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it was Miss White that got adiosed.
Yeah, it became Dr. Orchid.
Yeah.
We are going to need an answer fairly soon, though.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think of what other rooms are missing. It's just, I can't really think of it. As I told you in the chat, I have not played this game in forever. And so I really don't know.
And my wife and I just watched the movie again sometime in the last 6 months, and nothing that's there is jumping out at me. And like I said, I would have sworn I'd read that they added a bathroom.
Well, if you want to say bathroom, I don't have a better answer, and we need to come up with an answer. So, hey, a toilet's always good to me.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's say bathroom.
Okay, Carmela, we're going with our answer number 2 here.
Fair enough. Jonathan Troy.
We also selected an answer that started with B and ended with room. We said ballroom.
I was disappointed when I found out that the ballroom was not a ball pit. It is ballroom. So good job.
All right. Nicely done,
I think
guys.
the middle room you're looking for was the hall.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Your next category is hash.
Like corned beef?
Not quite. One definition of hash is a compressed form of resin derived from cannabis flowers. This psychoactive substance has a long history of consumption, notably in conjunction with a cult of Nizari Muslims that emerged after the fall of the Fatimid Caliphate. A cult better known by what name, unlike the cult's victims, has survived today?
I know. Meow meows.
We got meow meows. Okay. Does that mean you guys are locked in? Just want to confirm.
We are locked in.
All right.
All right, great. Troy, what's the answer?
It sure is.
No, oh no. Oh no. All right, well, let's think then.
But that was so fast, I have to reread the question here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know when the Fatimid Caliphate was?
Could not tell you.
A cult better known by what name, which, unlike the cult's victims, has survived today. So it's going to be a cult that we know the name of, where people died.
One thing that comes to mind is maybe the Taliban, because I know that hash is grown and used pretty extensively in that area of the world.
I don't think that you would call it a cult.
Yeah, I don't know if that's cult is the right word for them, but that's
right. I think this is going to be more of one of those situations like, what's his name that did the Kool-Aid down in South America, right? That was the
James
Jones. Jim Bone Jones. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It was actually Flavor Aid. That's what they drank.
It was Flavor Aid. I think it's going to be a cult like that. Like there's one that I'm trying to think of. There was the Hail Bop cult. There's like a white flower one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. There was like a documentary about it, right?
Yeah. It's not White Lotus. That's a TV show.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the...
I feel like that fits with the whole flower hash combo thing.
Yeah.
The lily.
Yeah, I can't place it.
I'm not good with cults. Sarah's the cult person.
Longest term consumption.
Is she a cult of personality, Jonathan?
Cult of
No.
Part of Culture Club?
You shush.
A cult that's still active today. Has survived today, it says.
Right? It's not the Branch Davidians. I could swear there's a cult with a white flower name.
We're going to need an answer pretty soon.
I don't know.
I don't either.
White flowers, not daisies.
Nope. Nope. We don't know.
Remember, if you can't be right, be funny.
All right. We're going to say Cult of the White Lotus. Let's go, baby.
Definitely has a cult following, or at least, really, really dedicated following. Okay. Cult of the White Lotus, David and Chris. David, you had meow meows.
Yeah, and Chris was right there with me because the hash part was particularly important here because this name, if we're right, derives from hashish, and that led to the name Assassins. And it didn't say that the cult has survived, but the name has survived. So there are still assassins today, but their victims did not survive. So, or if they were any good, their victims did not survive.
All right. So I am looking for the order of assassins.
Yes.
Wow.
Assassins is the correct answer. And yes, I was looking for the name, not necessarily that the cult had survived today, but the name has endured.
Great job, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all had that
Really good.
so fast.
I was never getting there.
No, but I respect it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I think both Chris and I were just like, no, don't go there.
Jonathan.
Don't go.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Don't, Jonathan.
There was no chance.
It's like I said, it's an active verb now.
What is the cult that I was trying to think of with the white flower in the name?
I don't know.
I
to be
don't
honest
know.
with
No one
you.
knows.
I'm sorry.
All right.
You'll have to talk to your cult loving wife and let us know.
Hare Krishna.
All right. Your last category in the round is it's catchable. And I was told that I have to read this kind of indignantly.
Okay.
So there's a Pokemon named Flygon. It has wings. It has the levitate ability. Its first Pokedex entry talks about how it's always enveloped in a sandstorm while flying. It has fly in its name, but it is not a flying type Pokemon. Name one of the two types that Flygon does belong to.
All right. I got to remember which one Flygon is. I got a good idea, though.
I wrote a little note next to it. Like, I think we just let Flygons be Flygons.
That's really good.
Also, that'd be a pretty good episode name.
It would be.
And you only have to give me one. There is no bonus for this. So.
Oh, darn. All right, we're going to lock in.
So David, I mean, I used to watch the Pokemon cartoon a bit until it just seemed to get redundant and repetitive after like season 20 plus. But I never played the game, but I've seen the cards because of course my nephews when they're younger collected them. I think Sebastian collected them for a period of time, Jonathan, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
For some reason, the first thing I thought was psychic, but I'm seeing in the wording, it's always enveloped in a sandstorm while flying. And for some reason, electric came to mind. And it might be because of the sandstorm. It might be because of the storm. I don't know. But it would not surprise me if it's electric Pokemon. I really don't have anything to go by. I know you said that you don't know anything about Pokemon. I know I said psychic originally, but I think I want to go electric, if you're okay with that.
Whatever.
Okay.
Anything you say is going to be more knowledgeable than what I have.
All right, fair enough. We're going to go with the Hail Mary guess of electric, Carmela.
Boogie, oogie, oogie.
Exactly.
Jonathan, Troy, what do you have for me?
I had absolutely nothing. So, Jonathan.
So I was looking at it, and I couldn't remember exactly what Flygon was. And almost every Pokemon has evolutions, and I was trying to remember what the evolution for Flygon would be. And I couldn't think of what the evolution for Flygon would be. But I was like, okay, well, it's got wings, and it has the word fly in its name. probably an insect type, and probably like insect and poison. That sounds good. That sounds right. You know, Flygon, yeah. So we locked in with insect, and then it hit me what Flygons were, and it's not insect.
It's not insect. You are correct.
It's a bird.
And so I'm going to put a picture of a Flygon into the chat so you guys can see what it looks like.
He breathes fire, y'all.
Oh,
so
crap.
he is a dragon who hangs out in sand, which also is usually on the ground. So he's a dragon and a ground type Pokemon.
Sandstorm.
But it's not a flying type.
It said sandstorm in the question. God, I feel bad for missing that.
But both teams missed that one, and that is the end of the round. No lead change. Chris and David are still in the lead with 60-50. But it's still a very close game.
Did Sebastian have a Flygon, Jonathan?
We had all the dadgum
Gons.
things.
Okay, it's your midpoint. Now, I wrote the midpoint, and your category is what's in a name?
It smells so sweet.
As cultures and civilizations shift, so do names. Please give me the Greek equivalent to these members of the ancient Roman pantheon. Ceres, Bacchus, Vulcan, Minerva, and Diana. They will be 4 points each.
I know. I have to type them, but I've got them all.
Okay. I love questions I don't have to do work in.
All right. We're locked in.
All right. Troy, just off the top, I know Bacchus is Dionysus, Vulcan is Hephaestus, Minerva is Athena, Diana is Artemis.
Yeah, those were the four I came up with immediately, too. I couldn't think of Ceres.
Ceres, I feel like, is probably Demeter.
Okay.
Hestia's also out there. I don't remember Ceres, but if I had to guess, I would guess Demeter.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay, sure. Then we'll say Demeter, Dionysus, Hephaestus, Athena, and Artemis.
Jonathan, don't you mean Mark Demeter?
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. All right. David, you said you had it, and I think you stuck the landing. So tell everybody your answers.
We're a little different because I said Demeter. That's how I'd always learned it pronounced. Dionysus, Hephaestus, Athena, and Artemis.
So, Ceres is Demeter or Demeter.
Ooh, yes.
Bacchus likes to party because he's Dionysus. Vulcan is Hephaestus, Minerva is Athena, and Diana is Artemis. So both teams get full points for that. And at the end of your midpoint, it is 80-70. Chris and David are still in their lead.
Dang, David, that was fast. That's
outstanding.
Good job, Jonathan.
Thank you. Yeah, what was interesting, the way you wrote it, I was looking at it and I was like, I think it's flipped. I think the Greeks, the Romans took it from the ancient Greeks.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They did, but I didn't say which way it shifted. I just said they shift.
Exactly.
Your first category in round 4 is revolutions.
Say you want a revolution.
The assassination of a senator named Benigno Aquino Jr. in 1983 and claims of election fraud in 1986 were the major elements preceding the People Power Revolution, a nonviolent series of demonstrations that led to the deposing of what leader who had held power for 20 years at that point.
We got meow meows, Jonathan.
Oh my God. Meow meow!
We're locked in.
Okay.
Once again, I'm still reading the question again.
I hope you get an answer when you read it, because I don't.
Yeah, I don't have one right off the top of my head. Benigno Aquino Jr.
I mean, it could be Spain.
Yeah.
It could be Mexico. It could be, I don't know, it could be the Philippines. I don't know.
Be a number of South American countries, perhaps.
20 years. It definitely sounds Hispanic to me.
Okay.
Oh, you said South American, and I heard South African. South American,
yeah.
You're right. It could definitely be Hispanic down there, yeah. That name is familiar. People Power, the PPR. People Power Revolution. Non-violent.
Yeah, that's the other non-violent.
Noriega was around that time.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know that we can claim that the nonviolent demonstrations led to his deposing, though. I think we had something to do with that.
Right. Pinochet is another name that comes to mind.
Who?
Pinochet?
Pinochet. Yeah, that's a name.
Is it? I want to say that.
Argentina? Chile?
Yeah. I was thinking Chile, yeah.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I think that's a perfectly acceptable name that we should probably go with.
All right. Do you want to go with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. We'll lock in Pinochet.
Pinochet, got it. David and Chris. Sounds like David had meow meows again.
He was super quick, and I was like, I heard that guy.
Yeah, because Benigno was assassinated, and 3 years later, his wife, Corazon, was elected the head of the Philippines following the losing of Isabella Marcos with all of her shoes and her Ferdinand. Marcos is what we went with.
Yep. So the People Power Revolution was in the Philippines. So it's Philippines. And so I'm looking for Ferdinand Marcos.
All right. I mean, it was one of the things that I said at the beginning, but I didn't have enough to go on to get there because I don't know enough about it.
Yep. And you would have it. They have Hispanic roots in the Philippines. Well, not roots. They were the roots were thrust upon them. So, it was definitely.
I think
there.
Heaven forbid.
There was a Broadway musical about that period of time recently. It was like Here Lies Love. David Byrne did the music for it.
I'm not sure.
The Marcos regime to a disco beat. It was a very weird.
Boy.
Next category is septets. In the novel Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, the protagonist traveled to the afterworld to battle 7 distinct incarnations of what musical icon, including Cloud Suit, Third Eye, Mesh Mask, and Get Off. The icon even told us the outcome in advance, singing One Day All 7 Will Die in 1992.
Yep.
All right.
I was right there with you.
It doesn't count if you don't have a hammer, Chris.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning.
Your meow meows are officially rejected.
All right. Me and
I'll give you some toots, but I need to turn around first.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
Troy, in 1992, Prince had a hit with the song 7.
Yeah. I was just singing it in my head. I was like, I know the lyric, and then I finally got to it. Yeah.
I was leaning that way without the clue at the end, but I think we should say Prince.
I agree.
We're saying Prince.
All right, Prince.
So,
David and Chris.
Yeah, I love the Ready Player books. I've read both of them, listened to both of them because Will Wheaton does a fantastic job doing the audible versions of them, and I remember that very clearly because it was a very well done series or well done part of the book for sure. But we also said the artist formerly known as Prince.
I think he's currently known as Prince.
The spelling of Get Off, I'm pretty sure that's the name of one of his songs as well.
And I believe the mesh mask is in reference to the mask he wears in the video for this song. All 7 and we'll watch them fall. Stand in the way of love and we will smoke them all. It is Prince. Good job.
Woo. Nice.
So your last category in the round is cocktails.
Woo. Crap.
Tequila, creme de menthe, schnapps, and 5 other types of liquor mixed together with some Krusty's non-narcotic cough syrup and then lit on fire is the canonical recipe for a fictional cocktail that goes by what 2 similar names?
I've got meows. We're locked in.
All right, David. I put in Flaming Moe, but it doesn't have the same 2 similar names. So I'm like ruh-roh.
Well,
I'm looking for 2 names.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you need both names.
Oh, hold on. We might not be locked in then.
Yeah, it goes by what 2 similar names? I need 2 names.
Oh, I see what you want. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're still locked.
So they're unlocked, so don't talk out loud. Keep typing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other one, Troy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're still locked in. Thank you. Sorry for that.
No, you're good. You're good. So what's the other name? It's Flaming Moe and then something Homer.
My Simpsons lore is spotty at best. Homer Jubilee, Homer Fireball.
We know the one's Flaming Moe. So if it's similar, Flaming Homer.
Okay. Hey, it's fine. Like if you've got a lot more here than I do. So
it's not really that. It's just I don't remember Homer. I know Moe both had the same drink, or at least Homer gave the drink to Moe, and then Moe stole it from him. But it just says two similar names, and the only difference in it is Moe and Homer. So I would say Flaming would be the similar part of it.
Okay.
So that's my scientific version of it. So if you're good with it, we'll lock in with Flaming Moe and Flaming Homer.
Sounds good.
All right.
And if we're wrong, then you guys can point at us and go.
All right. Troy and David. Not Troy and David. I'm just switching teams here. Troy and Jonathan, you guys switched on my screen of where you were.
Troy, it started life as a Flaming Homer, and then it got commercialized and became a Flaming Moe.
All the glory.
We said Flaming Homer, Flaming Moe.
Yep, that was the plot of the entire episode. Flaming Moe and Flaming Homer. Flaming Homer was the original, and Moe just like, well, it's my bar. So
I like the spelling of narcotic.
Yeah, that's what it was on the show.
Yeah, it absolutely has narcotics in it. It just doesn't have narcotic, NARKOTIC.
Good old
There's
Krusty.
none of narcotic in it.
Good old Krusty.
The original purple drink.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a Flaming Dr. Pepper, but I would not drink this.
Flaming Dr. Pepper was way, way cooler than I thought it would be.
Is that good or bad, Jonathan?
It's great.
Yeah, okay.
It's a shot of amaretto dropped Boilermaker style into a beer. I'm sorry, the flaming shot of amaretto dropped Boilermaker style into a beer, and then you chug the whole thing. And when you finish chugging it, the aftertaste is exactly like Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I will take your word for it, my friend.
We can do it one weekend if you want to.
Chris does not drink.
I've got amaretto. I can get beer.
I mean, I will have one with you, but Chris doesn't drink.
And I'm not a big Dr. Pepper fan either, so it just doesn't. It does not cross the streams for me. Sorry, my friend.
Next time I come over, we'll do it.
There you go.
But I'll drive Carmela home.
Okay, that is the end of the round. There is not a lead change, but there is a bigger gap. Chris and David have 110. Jonathan and Troy have 90.
I'm just riding on David's coattails.
Job, partner.
I'm just riding on your coattails right now, my man.
Hey, you've got a Simpsons, and you definitely have more Pokemon knowledge than I do.
First category in round 5 is about Aerosmith. By combining parts, well, sort of about Aerosmith. By combining parts of the names of two members of Aerosmith, one can construct the name of what multi-talented creator whose best-known character first appeared in his 1999 stage play, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, which he directed, wrote, produced, and starred in.
Definitely.
We're locked in.
Damn it.
You gotta stop doing that.
Members of Aerosmith.
Even Tyler and Joe.
Joe something.
Joe Perry?
Joe Perry, that's it. Thank you. Stephen Perry, Joe Tyler. Anything there? The name of what multi-talented creator whose best-known character first appeared in
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
From the Tyler Perry movies. Yeah.
Love it.
Like the Medea movies and all that.
I am picking up what you're laying down. Let's go with it.
Yep.
So you're saying Tyler Perry?
Yep, locked in. Tyler Perry.
All right. Chris and David, what do you got for me?
We actually typed it in at this exact same time. I recognized it just from the play itself. I don't know if David recognized it from the Aerosmith part, but
both.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
Yeah, Steve Tyler, Joe Perry equals Tyler Perry.
In a weird form of math, I suppose that's true. In a math that doesn't make a lot of sense, but the names are the same. The character is Medea. Diary of a Mad Black Woman is probably one of my favorite movies. But yes, Tyler Perry is what I'm looking for here. So good job, both teams.
Nice job, Carmela. That was a great question.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Aerosmith in the Flaming Moe's episode of The Simpsons?
It might have been. It would not shock me.
Oh my gosh, they were. Yes. That's awesome. All right.
Well,
Jay,
these were
well
all
done. Yeah,
these
Jay,
were
well done. Yeah.
These were all built from
that's right.
from foreplay
episode.
connections. So would not surprise me because we had revolutions, and then we had Prince who played with the revolution. Yeah. Okay, bars. A horizontal bar called a vinculum can be found in math as part of a radical, an indicator for repeating decimals, a complex conjugate, a negation of a logical expression, and to represent what simple geometrical concept. And I will definitely paste that in chat because that was a lot to read.
You probably want to read that one a little bit more slowly too, for the listeners.
A horizontal bar called a vinculum can be found in math as a part of a radical, an indicator for repeating decimals, a complex conjugate, a negation of a logical expression, and to represent what simple geometrical concept.
And what was the category name again?
Bars.
Bars.
Okay, bars. Okay, I thought you said Mars, and I was like, huh? Okay. Okay, we're locked in.
Jonathan and Troy, you got maybe about another 45 seconds.
Troy, you're closer to being a math person than I am.
I would not say that.
I'm not saying you're a math person, but you are closer than I am. I have a communications degree.
So do I.
Well, then we are just effed right in the A here.
Yeah. I think you might have been onto something with the pi symbol.
Yeah.
That could be. I mean, I don't know why you would call it a vinculum if it was just the pi symbol, but
so the first part where it says found in math as part of a radical, my understanding of a radical is just it's that square root sign. And if this is a horizontal bar that's part of a radical, then maybe it's just talking about the line on the top.
That could be. Yeah.
Because that's the repeating decimals. 0.969696. You just do the 0.96 and a line across the top, I think.
Right.
I can't think of a geometric concept that is expressed with a line across the top of numbers. But
the only other thing I could think of, but this isn't really, well, I guess it's sort of geometrical. The line, like when you have a fraction, the line between the two numbers, between the numerator and the denominator.
Mm-hmm.
It's another bar, right? Like it's a horizontal bar. I don't know if that's a geometric function. I guess you cut things into quarters or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I certainly am not saying I think the answer is pi and we should go with it. I am saying that pi is kind of sort of a simple geometric concept.
No.
And I'm struggling to think of anything else. Interestingly, about the repeating numbers, like repeating decimals, that's like something that goes into infinity, which pi also does.
Right.
Which that did grab my attention as to why they could be related.
Right. Maybe
We are going to need an answer here.
Let's go with it. Yeah, I think that's our best bet.
All right. We're going to say pi.
One thing you forgot to mention, and pi is awesome.
Pi is awesome. Okay, David and Chris, what do you got for me?
I like their answer. I'm not going to lie, David, but
I hear you. I'm not saying that what I have is right, but I was originally thinking it's a line. So what makes a line in geometry? And so initially I was thinking about supplementary angles that add up to 180 degrees. But then looking back at the question, that the horizontal bar is always, it's on top of the numbers or the symbols. And so when you represent a line segment, like line A, the line from point A to point B, it's shown as AB with a line over it. So I would assume that's the same line. So we end up saying line segment.
Everything that Jonathan was describing was indeed a line, and it doesn't get much simpler than a line segment.
Oh, wow.
So very good pull, David.
Good job, David.
Man.
Thank you.
Excellent pull.
Yeah, I think, Troy, I was overthinking. I don't know if you were as well, but yeah, I didn't realize that I could just answer, it's a line. Because it says a horizontal bar. I thought that was in the question.
I didn't say a horizontal line.
You didn't. You didn't.
I specifically went back and looked to make sure that the word line was not in the question.
Very sneaky.
That's on me.
Jay knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really does.
Your last category in the round is phonetic alphabets. Before the adoption of the NATO phonetic alphabet in 1956, the US and UK agreed on a shared phonetic alphabet to use when any US military branch communicated with any British branch during World War II. In this precursor alphabet, the letters A and B weren't represented by Alpha and Bravo, but by what two other words instead?
Longest alphabet ever.
Why is this message taking 8,000 years?
I was just saying hello.
That's not even how you spell hello.
Sure. Let's lock that in.
Okay, we're locked in.
All right, let's read this question again, just really quick. Before the adoption of the NATO phonetic alphabet in 1956, the US and UK agreed on a shared phonetic alphabet to use when any US military branch communicated with any British branch during World War II. 1956. Oh, before 1956. They did this during World War II. Okay. In this precursor alphabet, A and B weren't Alpha and Bravo.
I wonder
That says ALFA. Is that the way alpha is spelled in the phonetic alphabet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, Troy, maybe it is alpha and beta, because alpha, ALPHA, is not the same as alpha, ALFA.
Yeah, it's possible. The other thought I just had, I don't know if you saw my message, was
no,
because it's between the U.S. and U.K., it could be America, Britain.
Maybe. You don't like Albuquerque and Bartholomew?
I like it a lot.
Albuquerque.
You gotta be careful though, because people will always make wrong turns when you're giving directions.
It's truly. I think alpha and beta are actually the best guesses based on the fact that alpha is not spelled that way in the current one.
Okay.
Do you feel strongly about the other?
No, I was looking at the question again, and US and UK jumped out, and that's where I sort of associated the other two. But
it could be.
But I don't know that. I mean,
We are gonna need something though.
I'll let you choose Alpha, Beta, or America and Britain. It's all on you. No pressure. Make a choice.
All right. Well, I started with Alpha and Beta, so we'll and you seem to be on that one, so we'll go with that, Alpha and Beta.
Okay.
Okay, Alpha and Beta, got it. Chris and David, what do you got for me?
See, first, you dropped some knowledge. I didn't realize alpha was ALFA. That's
Didn't either.
interesting to me. Yeah, I really thought it was always alpha.
Right. I guess alfalfa.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I was afraid I was going to have to, call shenanigans on this question because I actually have the NATO phonetic alphabet taped to my computer screen. So if you'd actually asked about that would be one thing. But we also started with alpha and beta, and then I followed the same train that Troy was going down and suggested America and Britain. Chris liked that one, so that's where we went. So America and Britain.
America and Britain and Alpha and Beta. So prior to the standardization in 1956, A was Abel and B was Baker.
That's right. Wow. That's a MASH reference. Mm-hmm. That's why the nurses Abel and Baker are all the characters.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Samsonite. I was way off.
I had no idea about MASH.
Not getting any of these references.
All right. Well, that is the end of the fifth round. Chris and David, you have 130 points. Jonathan and Troy, you have 100 points. Very respectable scores for some kind of hard questions in here. So you guys are doing great.
But very well written questions. These questions have been super fun today.
No, I love Jay's questions. They're great.
Yeah.
All right. So round 6. Top Gun call signs. Maverick is both the name of a clothing brand and a ring name associated with what 30-year-old entertainer? A separate clothing brand called Maverick Apparel threatened the entertainer with legal action in 2018, declining sales that they believed were caused by a combination of marketplace confusion and some very bad publicity. So I'm looking for the name of the entertainer who owns a brand and uses a ring name that's the same name.
Meow meows.
Take it away.
Meow meow.
We are locked of the inn.
Maverick is both the name of a clothing brand and a ring name. Ring name is either boxing or wrestling, and probably wrestling or MMA, but probably wrestling with Chris bringing that answer so quickly. A separate clothing brand called Maverick Apparel threatened the entertainer with legal action in 2018. That's 7 years ago, citing declining sales that they believed were caused by a combination of marketplace confusion and some very bad publicity. So whoever this person is, who has a ring name, they did something so negative that it made the brand of clothing lose money. Maverick. Drake Maverick is a name of a small-time wrestler. I don't think it's going to be him.
He does have a clothing line, but it's called like Ovo or something like that.
Yeah, but this is not going to be the wrestler's clothing line.
Right.
This is a separate thing that got irritated about the wrestler if it's a wrestler. Oh, actually, no, it says both. Carmela, for clarification, when you say Maverick is the name of a clothing brand and a ring name, and then it says a separate clothing brand named Maverick Apparel, that means there's two clothing brands, one Maverick and one Maverick Apparel?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Okay, Troy, let's go back to that previous thought then. You said you think Drake Maverick has a clothing line?
I'm sorry, I was thinking Drake, like the singer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know who Drake Maverick is.
It's just a low level wrestler.
Yeah. 30
Maverick.
years old. So it's somebody fairly young.
No. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Maverick. The Maverick. That was friggin' Howard Dean's thing? Or no, John McCain was Maverick?
Yeah. Sarah Palin, right? She had the isn't her son's name Maverick or something?
All part of one election cycle there.
Yeah.
Ring name. And a ring name with 30-year-old entertainer.
Entertainer. The entertainer could be anything from actor to singer or...
No, it says a ring name. That means boxing, wrestling, or MMA.
Okay.
We're going to need something pretty soon.
30-year-old.
I cannot think of a wrestler who's going by Maverick.
What about an MMA fighter?
I don't know a damn thing about MMA fighters.
There's Conor McGregor. There's Patty Pimblett, Ronda Rousey.
30-year-old is really not. You're not getting into wrestling very much at the age of 30. People usually. Right. What about Logan Paul? Is he a Maverick guy? No, not with his name. No, it is. I feel like there is a connection there.
That would make sense.
Can you go with me with Logan Paul?
Absolutely. And, he's a controversial figure. He had, all kinds of crazy controversies going on. So I like that.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
We'll say Logan Paul.
Okay. Logan Paul. Got it. Chris and...
Should have just said Paul, shouldn't we?
David.
Yep.
This is all Chris, but he did it again.
You son of a biscuit eater. Yes. Yes, it's freaking Logan Paul. I mean, it's just like he comes out in the WWE ring and the first thing you see on the screen is Maverick.
Which doesn't make any sense. None of his shtick has anything to do with the name Maverick. They're totally unrelated, it feels like.
All I want to do is just Stone Cold Steve Austin you right now, Jonathan.
Stunner.
You're going to hand me a beer?
No, not the stunner. Just there's two fingers. I got two words for you right now. Anyway.
I got two fingers for you.
Anyway, but Logan Paul is the correct answer. And I'm just, dang it, Jonathan. How do you do that? I just want to know how.
I'm telling you, that was so frustrating for me because I'm like, I know there's a name that I know, but he never goes by Maverick. Nobody calls him Maverick. So that's what made it really hard.
All right. Well, this person is no stranger to being threatened with legal action. It's happened to him several times. I am looking for Logan Paul, and you're right. Nobody calls him anything other than Logan Paul because that's what he's been his entire career. His brother Jake Paul does a lot of boxing. So
A tool bag?
That's
Sorry, did I just say that out
I was
loud?
going to say, after listing off all those things, you neglected sumo.
All right, both teams got that correct. Your next question category is dragons.
Ooh!
Dragon. I swear I saw a dragon.
Stop dragging my heart around.
Hey, hey!
European and East Asian mythologies are home to what are likely the best known depictions of dragons, but Egyptian mythology is also known to have a dragon or two, including what symbol of cyclical renewal whose name comes from ancient Greek?
Meow.
No, you can't keep having meow meows. Ah. Are you locked in?
Yeah, they're locked in.
Yep.
All right.
Hey.
Troy, do you know the answer?
Not immediately.
Come on, Troy.
I know.
A dragon or two. Symbol of cyclical renewal whose name comes from... Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. Cyclical renewal in Egypt would seem to be related to the flooding of the Nile River. That was a predictable yearly cycle of Nile River flooding, right?
Right.
So that's something. A symbol of cyclical renewal whose name comes from ancient Greek and looks like a dragon.
I don't know why it's running through my head, but I keep seeing the image of like the snake eating itself kind of thing.
The Ouroboros?
Yeah. I don't know if they had a dragon version of that.
I mean, dragons can look like lots of things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep that in the back of our head.
What did you say the name of that was?
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros. That sounds Greek. The Boros.
Yeah. Perhaps it is Jeremy Baramy. Man, I don't know a cycle of cyclical renewal. Spring is cyclical renewal, right?
The shedding of skin.
Spring's Persephone is the nymph daughter of Demeter, who is the one who would bring spring.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm fine going Ouroboros if you want to.
I like that from the Greek aspect. And
Okay.
if that's the name of the snake eating itself, that's sort of relates to dragon. So
I think it is. It's kind of also in an infinity symbol of sorts.
Right.
The snake is figure eighting a little bit. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
All right, Carmela, we'll lock that in.
All right, they're locked in. Chris and Dave, what do you got for me?
Damn it!
Yeah, not quite a Jonathan, because he talked
Troy
about
thought
it
of it.
earlier. Yeah.
Hey, you know the word of it though, so
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is a snake or a dragon eating its own tail. And yeah, that is, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. I called it an Ouroboros, but that is what we said. Sometimes it's in an infinity symbol. Sometimes it's just a circle. But yeah.
Coincidentally, and I don't think Jay knew this when she wrote the question, this is also my favorite kind of dragon or snake. I have several pieces of jewelry that depict a snake eating its own tail. This one's actually like a fidget ring, so I put it on and I can spin it. But yeah, I'm looking for Ouroboros.
Nice.
And a good way, if you watch Marvel stuff, the Loki TV show featured a character named Ouroboros. And it made it easier to remember because of him.
Cool.
But you couldn't understand him because his mouth was always full.
I think it was Oro is tail, and I think Boros or something like that is eat. So that's where that name comes from. All right. Your last category before the gauntlet is about Michael Jordan. Sort of.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Say cool.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan was named People's Sexiest Man Alive in 2020, the third consecutive Black celebrity to earn that honor, but only the fifth in the magazine's 40-year history. Name either of the two men who were named Sexiest Man Alive in the 2 years prior to Jordan. So I'm looking for two names.
Wait,
You said either of the two men.
Yeah.
Oh, no, either of the two men. You're right. I'm looking for one name. Sorry. Just give me either one of them. I thought this was looking for two. Sorry. I read it wrong.
All right, my phone keeps going to sleep.
All right, I think we're locking in.
Okay.
I just sent you a question because I know
He is.
Dwayne Johnson is okay. If he is, then great. I remember him talking about being Samoan, but I don't.
Well,
remember
his mom's of Samoan descent. His dad was Rocky Johnson, who's one of the first African American tag team champions. So, but Dwayne Johnson was the first person I thought of. I'm trying to think. I know Denzel was one at one point in time, but I don't know how ago. I don't know how recent that was.
Yeah, so, no, he was one of like the first 5 or 6.
I gotcha. Okay. So I think instead of trying to overthink it, I think let's just go with The Rock and move on.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We're locked in with Dwayne Johnson, Carmela.
All right, Dwayne Johnson, Troy, and Jonathan.
Go ahead, Troy.
We went with my typo, but we both put in the same thing at the same time, and we thought that it would be Idris Elba would be one of them.
Ah, he was.
Not Elba.
Yeah. Not Wilba. Yeah.
Not Wilba Toast. No,
I thought it was Idris Wilba, but
okay. So John Legend was one of them.
Oh,
and the other, Idris Elba.
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry, David. Man.
No. I think I know he was one, but it might have been earlier.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because I've asked a question basically saying, like, now that Dwayne Johnson is primarily considered an actor, who's the only athlete to be named People's Sexiest Man Alive? And that was David Beckham.
That's good. That's a good trivia question right there, too. Oh, okay. So nicely done, guys.
Well, at the end of the 6th round, Chris and David have 150. Jonathan and Troy have 130. Very tight game.
Hey, we had a good 6th round.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
You guys did real good. Okay. So your gauntlet category is, this is several years ago at this point now. There is a lost episode I was hosting, and unfortunately the recording just ended up being so bad that we never used it. And I think it's been long enough that Jonathan has forgotten this gauntlet.
I don't even remember the circumstances of this.
You were in a hotel in Orlando recording an episode, and your Wi-Fi was so bad that the recording was just garbage.
Really?
I remember this. I remember the circumstance.
Yep. So your gauntlet category is Cover Me. So go ahead and lock in your wagers.
Okay, our wager is locked in.
Our wager is also locked in. Now that we know what yours is, we were able to finalize it.
Wait. How did you know?
That's how that works, right?
That's the ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Your first question in the gauntlet of Cover Me. Bruce Springsteen originally wrote his song Cover Me for the Queen of Disco. But then by the recommendation of his manager, kept it and wrote the song Protection for her instead, and played guitar and sang backing vocals on the single released in 1983. I want the name of the Queen of Disco.
We can lock in.
As can we.
Yep.
Okay. Prince makes another appearance in our game. He originally wrote Manic Monday for Apollonia 6, but it was a number 2 hit on the Hot 100 for what pop rock band in 1986?
We can lock that in too, Troy, because I have meows.
We have double meow meows on our
double meow meows. Everybody was meow meow fighting.
Get your cat back in here, Carmela.
And your last question in the gauntlet. Fancy is one of Reba McEntire's most famous hits, but is actually a cover of a song originally recorded and released by what singer and songwriter in 1969, who's probably more known for her song Ode to Billie Joe?
Yes. Sorry,
You're
Jonathan.
locked in.
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan. Didn't mean to do that.
You're okay. Troy, do you feel good about what I just said?
Yeah, I did not know this one at all. So if you feel good about that, go for it.
Let me double check myself. We can talk.
Okay. I know the Reba song, but I have not heard the original.
Ode to Billie Joe is me and Billie Joe down at the Tallahatchie Bridge. And I think it's Dusty Springfield. And I'm just double checking because there's a band called Buffalo Springfield, which I think she may have even been a member of. That might be where the Springfield comes from.
Yeah.
But I think it's Dusty Springfield. I think that's her name. So I think that's the answer.
I've definitely heard that name before.
Okay. We're going to lock in.
All right. Let's go back through and we will get answers. Bruce Springsteen wrote Cover Me for what Queen of Disco? Jonathan and Troy, what do you have for me?
I would just like to say that the lack of candle box in this question was disappointing. Cover me, save me from the storm. What was the question? Donna Summer, Queen of Disco. Donna Summer.
Chris and David.
Yeah, at the same time. I mean, David and I were pretty much lockstep, at least for the first two questions. So,
yeah, and we worked hard for the money and came up with Donna Summer.
Okay.
Worked hard for it, honey.
Even though Prince wrote Manic Monday for Apollonia 6, what band made it a number 2 hit? Chris and David.
it was 6 o'clock already, and I was just in the middle of a dream. We both at the same time said the Bangles. Susanna Hoff.
Okay, Bengals. Jonathan and Troy, what do you have?
Yep, we also went with the Bengals.
Okay. And last but not least, Reba's hit Fancy was originally done by this singer and songwriter from 1969. Jonathan and Troy, what did you answer?
We took a minute to think about it, and we locked in with Dusty Springfield.
Dusty Springfield. Okay. And Chris and David, what did you lock in with?
Well, if I just may say this is no comment on whether their answer is correct or not. Just that Buffalo Springfield was a bunch of guys. It was Stephen Stills and Neil Young. Dusty Springfield was not part of that. But Ode to Billy Joe, I believe, was done by Bobby Gentry. So Gentry.
Oh, no, it is Bobby Gentry. Wow. Whoa, no. How did that happen?
Okay. Well, let's go through the answers. You guys only differed on one. The Queen of Disco I'm looking for is indeed Donna Summer. Manic Monday is a song that I really, really love, and it was a hit by the Bangles. And just as a little bit of a flavor that I have over here on the side, Fancy was done, it was covered again. It was on Orville Peck's EP Show Pony, so it did get another cover. But the original, done in a much different style than the way Reba did it, was done by Bobby Gentry.
Nicely done, David. Really solid game.
So Chris and David got the gauntlet. Jonathan and Troy, so close. I know what you were going for with Dusty Springfield. I know why you kind of had that connection a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, you guys missed it. So how do you want to do this, Jonathan? I forget how we do this.
Before we do, Troy, do you ever go to the refrigerator and you're like, man, I could use a Coke. I'm looking forward to this Coke, right? And then you do your stuff in the refrigerator, you walk away and you have a glass of milk instead that's in your hand. You're like, the beep, I was getting a Coke. But you're holding the glass of milk.
Yep.
That's what happened. I reached in to retrieve information from a drawer where it was stored in my mind, and I came away with a different piece of information that had no business. Well, I mean, it was also in the drawer, but it wasn't in the same file.
Right. It's all right. They got all three of them anyway, so the wager.
I know, but still, I'm disappointed. That's my genre. That's my stuff.
Is that your jam?
That's my jam. Anyway,
just don't go jumping off any bridges.
I think that we need to hear. I mean, we missed one. We were behind, so there's not much drama here. But David and Chris, what was your wager?
We talked about it. We decided to go for the lockout.
Yeah, I said to Chris, because the very first time I was on this show, I was partnered with Chris, and you were hosting, Jonathan, and I insisted on a conservative wager, and we ended up winning, but if our opponents had gotten it right, we would have lost. So I said, let's go for it, and so we wagered 111.
I said that you guys would wager 111.
Sure did, and they will end with 261.
Yep. If they'd have missed, they would have ended with 39. So we wagered a wager that would have ended us with 40 if we both missed. We said 90.
Oh, wow. You're going for the tie.
Yeah. Oh, no, going for beating you by 1 point if you guys missed it and beat 111.
I can't add.
It's okay. So with a final score of 261-240, your winners today are Chris and David. Well played game, guys.
I mean, you guys had it the whole way.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah,
I tell you what, we're pretty good partnership. That was really solid. That was really solid.
Yeah, because there were definitely things that I knew that Chris didn't, and that Chris knew that I didn't. And, I said, like, wrestling is a black hole for me. So, if my partner doesn't know wrestling, a wrestling question comes up, we're dead.
I'm not going to lie. I feel dirty for knowing that question. I really wish I didn't know who Logan Paul was.
He is in our pop culture zeitgeist. It just happens. It's okay.
Was it him or his brother that did the YouTube video in the forest that
was Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah. What a dirt.
I don't know what this is.
There's a forest in Japan, and I'm probably going to get some of the details of this forest incorrect, so I apologize. I'm not trying to be insensitive. There is a forest that has a history and a reputation of people go there to end their lives.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so he was going there, and he like filmed in the forest, and generally in that trip, from what I understand, he was hugely disrespectful.
Yes,
just in general, but it was a whole thing, and yeah, he's something. And so, like I said, he's no stranger to legal action.
Yep.
So
yep.
There you go.
It starts with an A and ends in a hole.
Starts with a B and ends with a room.
And I don't remember which streaming service it is, but he and his brother have like a reality show now.
Yeah.
Paul American or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we go, we'd like to give everybody a chance to do shout outs and promote causes that they care about. David, you are truly today's winner. You're up first.
Well, one of my shouts is kind of inspired by something you talked about on a recent podcast. We were discussing loquats and how your wife made loquat jam.
Sure did.
Very good, by the way. Very, very good.
So I promised I'd do this shout out. If you are ever in Western Massachusetts on a Sunday and you go to the New Marlboro Farmers Market, look for Mary's Berries. That is my mother's jam business.
Ooh.
She has quite a following up there, makes all kinds of jam, pickles, various things like that. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a website because that kind of stuff is really expensive to ship. But like I said, if you're in Western Mass, give it a look. And then my other cause is, be sure to check in with a cardiologist, especially if you're over a certain age, as Chris and I are, because, I lost my sister to a massive heart attack a few years ago. And so just, make sure your ticker is in good working order.
Heck yeah, for sure. And shout out to Mary's Berries. I wish I lived up there and could get some of your jam. I bet it's awesome. I love jams.
For real. Yeah, amen to that.
She makes a strawberry jalapeno jam that I take it and I melt, like I put it in a dish and then put it in the microwave for like 20 seconds. And it's a great dipping sauce for jalapeno poppers.
Oh, wow. Strawberry jam is my favorite. I do love strawberry jam.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right. Well, thank you, David. Troy, you're up next.
Don't associate me with those two.
Sorry.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me on. It's always fun. I enjoy these a lot. My cause is always, as a lifelong first student then educator, is to shout out the teachers and daycare workers of the world. They're often, if not always, underappreciated and underpaid, so cut them some slack. Luckily, at the end of the school year, so they get a little break. A lot of them do, but just if you have a chance to thank a teacher, it's always appreciated.
Thank you to all of my teachers. Some of you are better than others, but I appreciate all of you.
Yep.
Well said.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well said.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap. No, wait. Carmela, you have a shout out or something that you care about.
There is. So I've been, you may have noticed that I've been kind of scarce here on the podcast for the last year or so.
Sad emoji.
Poop
emoji.
And I do miss you all. I really do. But it's mainly, one of the major factors is because I've been working on producing another show. I have made a show with Liz Thaler, who you may have heard on various OMG podcasts. I met her at different trivia things. Hosted our Shakespeare episode at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, love Liz.
Drunk Shakespeare
at that.
No, she participated in Drunk Shakespeare. She didn't host that one. Paul hosted that one, I think.
Okay. But she's our Shakespeare lady. She asked if I would want to do an actual play podcast with her, and I jumped on it. And we produced a actual play podcast playing Daggerheart, which is a new gaming system that just came out actually a couple weeks ago as we're recording this. But we did a place test and made a whole podcast called Queen of Daggers, Heart of Fire. Just premiered recently, so if once you're listening to this, it is out. You can listen to it. It comes out every other week. I'm a player, and Liz is the GM as Asteria. And there are three wonderful actors, like actual actors, who are playing with us. And it's a fun time. And if you are a fan of kind of those dark fantasies that we had in the 80s, like Labyrinth or Legend or Dark Crystal, then you may be a fan of the kind of atmosphere that we are brewing over there. And if you want to learn more, you can check us out at hagdealgaming.com.
All right. Can you spell that for them?
Sure. HAGDEALGAMING.com. Hag Deal Gaming.
Love it. Go check it out, guys. I am sure that it's going to be fun.
Yep. And I hope I get to see you guys in Chicago for SporkleCon, because I am running a live version of Foreplay. And it's going to be fun. And Jay is helping me with that. So come. We're
going to have Foreplay in person, y'all.
Yeah. Come play.
All right. Then that's going to wrap us up. So for David, for Troy, for Chris, and Carmela, my name's Jonathan. This has been episode number 535 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia. It's war. Bye, everybody.
Have fun storming the castle.
Shalom.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit propodcastingservices.com.
It's episode 535. The matchup today is Chris. Actually, I don't know what the matchup is. No, it's Jonathan and Troy versus David and Chris. Carmela's hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Are we not doing a warm it up?
You know,
it's been a while since I've been on the show, but I'm like,
I think I blew my load early.
Yeah.
So Joel, what you do is you just take that out and you move it over.
Yeah, because that was all good. I was good with all of that.
That was great.
Jeez, okay,
that was great. We'll just,
And then Jonathan, I posted something in the chat because you said you wanted me to talk about the surgery.
Yes, I do want that too.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna really be back. Yep, we're gonna come back.
All right, Morgan. I know you're upset because Waco's not here. I know he's your best friend, and I know you want to touch it, but I've got to do stuff, and I can't do it while I'm holding you. So